KFAN.
Well, they're 9-2, and you thought they might be 2-9. They're 9-2. It's the Minnesota Vikings morning show, the Power Trip morning show on a Monday, and the Vikings are 9-2. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to you. Sam
good tune.
Sam Darnold threw for 340 yards or something like that. And the Vikings are 9-2. Hey, you know what, Ben?
Yeah, what?
I was thinking this. Most of the number one wide receivers in the league would be bitching and moaning, throwing their helmet on the sidelines.
Yep.
But not JJ. I love that.
I love the guy.
I do too.
He gets it.
He does.
He really does. And it helps that we're winning.
Yeah,
it'd be one thing if he wasn't getting the targets that he was looking for, and then we were losing these games, and then Addison wasn't stepping up, Hawkinson wasn't stepping up, Jones wasn't stepping up. That would be maybe a little different. I think that he would probably have every right to be like a little frustrated. Mm-hmm. But in this situation, when all these guys are compensating for his lack of targets and we're winning these games, how can he be mad?
And Max said a little bit earlier, but at least one time a game, there's a 60-yard pass interference penalty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He got 50 some yards or 45 yards in defensive penalties from Johnson.
Yeah.
So that counts for something. I mean, the one scoring drive that we had was at Addison's touchdown that got us down there. That was with a 35-yard defensive pass interference. So that counts for something.
Johnson.
And on the Jalen Naylor touchdown, they broke down how Jalen Johnson definitely bit on doubling Jefferson as opposed to staying with Jalen Naylor, that he took that one false step because Justin was behind him, and that was the difference.
Yeah.
So even it's like it's a shutdown corner that has almost no interceptions and no tackles because they just don't throw to that side of the field. Justin clearly puts up monster numbers, but yesterday was one of those days. He had a pretty giant impact for a guy that had 2 catches.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
You could feel it. If you watch the game, if you just look at the box score, you're like, wow, Jefferson did nothing, but either drawing attention or drawing flags. I felt like he was in the mix the entire game.
Yeah. So, that is, I know that we're adding overtime into this, but I don't think, what was the stat? The Bears hadn't given up more than like 23 points or something like that all season long to any opponent. And we score 30 on them. And again, a little bit that's a part of that's extra time. But the fact that they had to manipulate their defense and what they really want to do just to slow down Justin Jefferson. Because we walked into the game, they're all talking about, well, this is the team that runs the most single high man coverage and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is great. If they do that, I think we're going to torch them because it's this, our guys, I believe, in a man-to-man situation are just better than their guys through the course of 60 minutes. But they had to go more to 2 high looks, just like Tennessee did, just like Jacksonville did. They had to go against the grain a little bit. And by doing that, they obviously they want to double and take away Justin down the field, but they left everybody else open. And Addison took advantage. And Hawk, it was a while before he really got going, but late in the game in overtime, he just took over. So it was beautiful. We made the adjustments when they made adjustments.
Yeah. Do you think, again, what Addison and Hawk did late in the game yesterday and what Addison did the entire game, is that going to relieve some of the pressure on JJ, or are we still a ways away from that?
I think it has to relieve the pressure. Especially with Hawkinson really starting to feel himself now, and we're really finding the mismatches and where we can exploit defenses. It is going to be a headache for defensive coordinators on what down and distance and what game situation, because you're going to have to bracket him. You have to pay special attention to Justin at some point in time in the game. It's just like, at what point in time in the game are you going to do that? The obvious third downs, well then we know that's the chess match. Okay, on the obvious got to have it downs, you're probably going to take JJ away, so then we'll go to somebody else. And you better hope that those other guys guarding those other players are stepping up to play well as well. So we will find ways to get Justin the ball. I guarantee that, but we don't really have to at this point in time.
Paul, your hands up.
Do we know how Cam Robinson is doing?
I don't. That's a huge thing to as we get ready for Arizona week. Is his health? I believe it was a foot.
Yes,
is what they
absolute
officially
mess.
listed. But shout out to Questenberry, man.
Yeah, man.
He played well.
He came in and did we call his name once in a negative way at
Not in
all?
a negative way. Nope. No penalty.
And then how about this? Two times now this season, we've had to go to Nick Mullins in a weird situation where I think both times were on third down, and then he comes in, spins the ball a couple times on the sideline, gets his body somewhat warmed up, goes in there, takes total control, drops it right in the middle to that little middle screen that we had to Aaron Jones on third down. He goes for like 13, 14, and then just checks back out. I'm like,
well, then let's ask you the question we asked before you got here. If Daniel Jones wants to sign a minimum contract here at 3:00, would you rather have Mullins?
Way rather have Mullins.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, too. I don't care either way.
Who started that rumor, by the way?
Adam Schefter.
It was me.
Schefter said that the Ravens and Vikings were the most likely to be interested, I think is how he worded it. Because Daniel Jones wants a playoff contender, and he specifically named those two teams on SportsCenter yesterday morning. Ravens
Did he
and
post
Vikings.
that before he had sex or after he had
Mussy.
sex?
Wow.
Jesus, Muss.
Hi, Muss. Way to drop in.
What?
Way to drop
What's
in.
going on, guys?
Dynamite.
I got questions, man.
Who had sex?
Adam Schefter.
Oh, yeah, that was
Who?
last week's story, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a story of.
Yeah, he broke a big story, basically kind of was like, hold on one second, and then I'll just text, okay, honey, we're back.
Yeah.
Wow.
He supposedly admitted that somebody asked him, I don't know, was it a podcast? You guys have the full story? Like, what's the weirdest time that you've ever broke a story or something? And he said, right after having sex.
And then,
Really?
yeah.
And there's 8 phones sitting on the bed. And he's like, oh, man, everything's vibrating.
Sauce, what's the weirdest time you ever broke in a story?
When I was taking a dump. I did. I broke the Ron Gardenhire
Scooping
story
while
when I
pooping.
was taking a dump.
Remember scooping while pooping?
I got
That
a
was where
text
that whole
to
thing
me.
came from, yeah.
You do your best thinking there.
Yeah, somebody just texted it to me. I didn't go out looking for it.
All right. Be cool.
Yeah, Daniel Jones was waived over the weekend, released by the Giants. He's expected to clear waivers today and then could sign with somebody as a free agent after 3:00 Central today.
I guess I don't understand. Look, we all know that Schefter has people on the inside of every organization. So is this inside information, or is this him just thinking out loud, okay, playoff contenders that have, possibly backup quarterback situations that he could walk into? My thing with Daniel Jones joining the Vikings, I think he clearly struggled to get comfortable in the Giants system. What makes you think that he's going to be a productive player being a backup when he's going to get literally 0 reps in practice? It's going to all have to be the mental rep variety. And then what do you do with him next year? It's like...
he walked anyway. Yeah.
Do people forget that it's going to be JJ's team he's taking over? Are we really thinking we're going to have Daniel Jones as his backup when we have a guy like Nick Mullins who can go out there and sling it for 400 yards? Like, the logic doesn't make sense to me at all.
Is it the theory that KOC is the quarterback whisperer?
Yeah, but you don't have
if anybody
so
can
many
fix
quarterbacks on the
Daniel
roster.
Jones, maybe that's like the thought process in there where you're just spitballing.
Yeah, if KOC was running an off-season quarterback reclamation project and he was like going to the Manning Passing Academy, possibly, but not in season and certainly not for next year. And I could be totally just having egg on my face if they sign this guy, this week or next week. But to me, it makes 0 sense. 0.
I think the other thing, too, though, with how yesterday it was he wanted to play play on a playoff team, I think it changes if the Raiders have any interest. Because if they keep with Desmond Ridder, they are full on tank mode.
Right.
But if that may have changed yesterday that's an open spot. He could hopefully take the job from Desmond. Ridder is so bad.
Right.
That might change it. Then he can play there. He would be the starter for the Raiders. That might change his tune from yesterday.
Yeah, if he's making starting money, or I don't know, maybe he just wants to take a break. Maybe he just wants to take a breather this year
Made
and
a lot
say,
of money.
You're like, listen, I've made a lot of money. Let me find the best fit for me, maybe going forward, and not just a a stop here and there, and
Maybe
then
play a little pickleball.
maybe play a little pickleball. I don't know. I mean, I just think the idea of him coming here doesn't make a lot of sense.
But no matter what happens, with just 6 weeks left in the regular season, he's going to end up being probably a backup quarterback no matter where he goes.
Unless like Sauce is like laying it out, unless
He'd
it's a team
play
like
for
you
the
get
Raiders.
you get a broken collarbone from
Now he
Minshew.
would, but I'm talking about like next year. You think he is a starting quarterback?
Well, but whoever he
Clearly,
signs
the
with,
Giants don't think so.
Let's say he signed with the Vikings today. I still don't understand how he would be back next year because
Correct.
this year you signed Sam Darnold to a $10 million deal as a true 1-year bridge quarterback. He's likely the starter, even though we heard JJ was making that competition a little hotter than we thought maybe. But the plan was Sam starts for a year, JJ gets in there after that. If JJ's ready next year, you don't need a $10 million backup, right? What is Daniel Jones is not going to take veterans minimum next year to back somebody up, right? He's going to want some money somewhere. He's not going to sign here.
Well, he's going to want it. Is he going to be able to get it? That's the thing. I mean, when you literally, the team just goes, we'll just let you go. We don't want you to play. We want nothing
Well, that's because
to
of
do
the
with
injury insurance. If he would have gotten hurt, then what was it, Sauce? 23 or something?
23 million, 23 and a
23?
half. Yeah.
So they just didn't want to risk it anymore. But I still think, and look, Daniel Jones, the days of him making $40 million a year, that's long gone. But if you look at what Sam Darnold just got paid, I don't even think Daniel Jones is going to get 10 next year. But if he wants some money, why would the Vikings give him anywhere near 10 million next year? It makes no sense. I'd rather have, like you just said, Ben, I'd rather have somebody like Mullins way cheaper than that and save that money. And plus, again, we're losing it. Daniel Jones sucks. Why do we keep
correct.
forgetting? It's like, I know he has all the potential and he was a top pick.
You said the same thing about Sam Darnold.
True,
this
but
year.
again, he's the exception, not the rule, though. He is the exception, though. It's not that easy. Plus, I think Sam Darnold is just, you can see with the eye test, he's so much better, even potential, than Daniel Jones. I don't know. He's looked good one game basically in his 5-year career, and it was against us in the freaking playoffs.
And to all your points, these guys are professional athletes because they want to play. If he comes here, he has to know. Even if let's just say he signs some kind of weird 2-year deal, he's not going to start next year.
No,
it's McCarthy's job. That's why I think he will end up going to Las Vegas, because he can play. You want to play. You don't want to not play, because then your career just goes to the wayside.
But if it is only 6 weeks, maybe it ultimately, like to Ben's whole taking a break bit, maybe he truly just doesn't necessarily need to play this year, because what's the point? There's 6 weeks to go. You'd have to learn a new offense. You have to, if he's on a playoff team, you have to get somebody hurt. Maybe it's like, if I'm going to play for the Raiders, there's no upside there, because I might look even worse because I don't have a team around me, right? That's not going to help your career. But if you're on a team like the Vikings or the Ravens, and then Sam Darnold or Lamar Jackson gets hurt, at least you're in a big spot and can feel that rush until you sign with absolutely somebody else next year. He's not going to be a Raven or a Viking in 2025, right? It would just be for the rest of this year.
I actually don't know what his thought process is, and hear me out on this. If you're asking yourself, because he is he's 26 probably?
Somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Let's just say that he has 10 more years.
27.
10 more years potentially of playing quarterback in the NFL. And right now you want to go to a playoff team at your age and experience. For what? That's something that a 37-year-old quarterback says. I want to go to a playoff team. I've never been there. I want that rush, like you're saying, of potentially helping a team out, get to a Super Bowl, and ultimately win the Super Bowl. You shouldn't be in twilight mode yet. You should be saying, Daniel Jones, to yourself, look, I'm going to take a step back. I got the release I wanted. I want to find the best fit for me. I want to find the best fit for me going forward to be a quality starting quarterback in this league. You go to a playoff team. Playoff teams have quarterbacks. Playoff teams don't need quarterbacks, essentially. You're pretty much locked in, at least this year and next year, for whatever quarterback that you have. Now, again, to Schefter's point, we all know that we have a bridge quarterback, but did you forget that we have J.J. McCarthy? Like, he's a bridge quarterback until we get McCarthy healthy and he takes over for the next 15 years. Like, that's the thought process. That's the idea. So your stop in Minnesota is really just a few weeks just to maybe sniff what a playoff organization feels like. Dude, you should be thinking about, I want to find the quarterback in the system, or the quarterback coach in the system and the offense that fits me for the next 10 years. Not just I just want to go to a playoff team and just like have fun on this playoff ride. Like, you're being very short-sighted about this whole thing.
I don't know why we're hemming and hawing about Daniel Jones when we all know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be our quarterback next year.
I heard some talking heads say that too, and I'm like, it's like these people that cover the NFL don't think any deeper than just the active roster. Like, it's funny that people forgot that we drafted our quarterback of the future. Just because he's not front and center doesn't mean that we don't have a plan. And then whoever floated that out there that we're going to sign Aaron Rodgers, like, just shut up. Just shut up. It's like you guys are just bringing all this undue, unnecessary drama into our organization.
Yeah, KOC's having lunch with JJ every Thursday, and they break things down. That was the storyline that came out.
So let's bring Aaron Rodgers in. God, idiots.
Michael J. Mussman III is here. Ben Lieber is here. Sauce, would you like to walk us through sports when we get back?
I would love to do that.
That would be great.
The Fan.
KFAN and the Minnesota Vikings will be live from Shields in Eden Prairie next Tuesday for our annual Toys for Tots broadcast presented by Unreal. We'll be collecting donations for Toys for Tots 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. and we need your help. You'll have the chance to enter to win great Vikings prizes, all while seeing your favorite shows live. First 50 donations each show will receive an Unreal KFAN winter beanie. KFAN.com keyword toys to get all of the details.
Hey, Ben.
Yes, sir.
Andrew Van Ginkel's a tall sumbitch.
I know, isn't he?
Isn't he big? I mean, because you're bigger than me, but everybody is. But you're standing beside him, and I'm like, wow, he's even bigger than Ben.
That's a huge
That's a
bitch.
big dude, man.
So Muss can attest to this, because Muss, you do your deal with all these Vikings players and stuff
Vikings
every week.
country, yep.
And so I had Brian O'Neill on my show last Monday.
Oh, B.O. is a monster.
And you absolutely forget until they're standing next to you, like, you're a giant human.
Yeah.
Like,
It's ridiculous. You just keep standing up.
You're like, you are huge.
That's a huge
Right.
dude.
I mean, O'Neill, I think he's listed at 6'6". He feels more like 6'7".
That's a huge bitch. No, he's a monster. Brendell's a big dude, too.
Randall's a huge guy.
I mean, and it's insane because when you see him on the field, they're all big guys. So you don't really, it doesn't
you
really...
lose the perspective.
Right, yeah. So then you're standing next to him and you're just like, oh, my God.
Yeah. And Van
This
Ginkel, to your
person
point,
could eat me.
is one of those people, too. Have you stood next to Van Ginkel?
I have not yet. I can't wait because I want to see the locks. I got to see that hair up close.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
That's a
it's
good-looking
glorious.
dude, man. I like that guy.
Glorious.
Yeah.
I like that dude, man.
I love his contrast and personality. I love just how soft spoken and understated he is, and then he's just a freaking monster.
God, was
on the
he
field.
frustrated yesterday?
Yeah.
Because that kid just kept turning and swiveling those hips, and he'd be gone.
Yeah.
God, that's got to be frustrating as a linebacker, right?
Oh,
you got him, and bam.
because you're straining and you're exerting so much energy, and you're using up all these setup moves to get to the quarterback, and then you something finally works, and you clear whatever blockers in front of you, and then the quarterback just goes whoop whoop whoop, and just gets out of it.
Yeah. We've seen enough of that over the years.
I know it's tough, man.
Yeah.
That's why you got to enjoy every sack, because that's why
Amen, brother.
Amen.
Truer words have never been spoken. That's why I think Grenard was like, okay, I'll take it. I'm getting held up by two guys, and he's holding on the ball for 10 seconds. I'll just go ahead and take this.
Yeah, that was the weirdest looking sack.
Yeah.
Because even Grenard was like, wait, he still has it?
Yeah.
I guess I'll take him
Picker would
down.
like to have a word.
Yeah. Sauce, did you have a question?
It's not relevant now. It wasn't really a question. It was just a statement on something I saw yesterday that I thought was really cool.
Go on.
And I think it says a lot about this team. Is yesterday, how after every win they do the game ball bit with KOC. I thought it was really neat that Brian O'Neill got a game ball and then immediately pitched it to Questenberry. I thought that was cool. I just think stuff like that's cool. You don't see that on every team.
No.
He knew that Questenberry might never get one of those, and he just thought, you have it. You came in a weird situation on the road. I don't know. And I know he says it, but he says how much he loves this team. I like that stuff. I think that stuff's sweet.
On that same vein, how about Jake McQuaid?
Yeah, how about that?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get the
I missed it. What happened
so
with
the
Jake?
overtime field goal.
Yeah.
So Parker Romo.
Oh, he
drills
runs
it
over
through.
and yeah.
He ran over instead of like celebrating with everybody else. He ran over, went to the guy who was like collecting balls, Zach, and and made sure he's like, I need that.
Yep.
And then ran it back to make sure that Parker Romo was going to get that ball. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
What the
That's a
hell's
good
go-
dude, man.
What the hell is going on with the Vikings? All of a sudden this year, we have 2 now kickers that you don't even have to remotely
Yeah, how
worry
about
about.
that?
What kind of alternate universe are we living in where freaking Reichert and Romo now just bang everything through? We don't have to sweat. There's not even a second like, oh man, this is a kid it's in overtime. It's Soldier Field. He's going to shank it. Nope. Right down the middle. No worries in the world. Paul, your hands up.
It's probably an easy question once I say it. If Romo doesn't miss, who do you keep him?
No, you don't
No.
use a draft pick
All
on
right.
Reichert and then just jettison him
Okay.
afterwards. It's, again, it's like Sam. Sam's he's a bridge quarterback that's gonna get paid, hopefully pretty handsomely by some team as their starting quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years. Same thing with Parker Romo. He comes in, he's a bridge kicker. Everybody knows it. He's just going to be here for a little bit, and hopefully he gets another opportunity to be like the real kicker on like a 2-year contract with somebody. So that's the nice thing about the NFL is like you want to audition for your team, but you also want to audition for all 31 other teams, and everybody's watching everybody. So, yeah, good for him. And same thing with McQuaid. McQuaid was just chilling,
Yeah.
He's out there collecting NFL checks now, and hopefully he gets back in the league and is a long snapper for somebody.
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's done very well. Yeah.
He and I were teammates in St. Louis for a year.
No kidding.
No.
Yeah.
You were in St. Louis?
Yeah, I
You don't
know.
talk about it
I
much.
mean, I know.
Sorry, did he?
Kind
They
of
don't even have
weird
a team
connection.
anymore.
I know. Neither does San Diego.
Yeah, maybe there's a theme to that.
I don't know. I guess. I guess since we're
Watch out, Vikings.
since we're just like doling out all sorts of praise, I guess since we're talking about special teams, then I guess we have to give out praise to Matt Daniels, the special teams coordinator. I mean, you are in charge of scouting talent. You're the one that's going around and watching the film and doing the research to find these guys and to bring Parker Romo in, as a part of the team. Then he gets cut and you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep tabs on this guy and bring him back if we ever need to bring him back. Then he scouts Reichert, which not a hard scout. I mean, the guy was just money when he was in college. But the point is, like, you've got to pitch these guys. You got to sell these to the front office and say, these are the guys that we got to go out and get. And, so kudos to him.
But what did we say about the onside kick? Here's what KFC said about it.
Obviously, it hit one of our guys. You're expecting on that roller kind of play to try to, have that front line, see if they can go up and make contact and allow the guys to get the ball. But we're going to have to take a look at that because, it's not a high percentage play. So when you give one up in a critical moment like that, followed right up by, a big old dagger hit to get him in field goal range, I got to do a better job.
We got kicked in the munt.
Wow. Well played, Cory. Well played.
I mean, we did.
yeah, well played.
Yeah, we did.
What a great and weird game for the Bears special team. I mean, they got the blocked field goal. They had a muff themselves.
Whoa.
And then they actually get the onside kick, which I don't think that was the first one this year. I heard you guys talking about that earlier. I believe, because I looked it up last night, because I was like, come on, how many times? Because Max and I were talking about it, like, how many possible times could someone actually have a successful onside kick? And from what I saw, it was Dallas Cowboys got the first one. That was September 22nd.
Okay.
The Bucks got one in October.
Okay.
And then now the Bears.
So it's the third
Yeah.
successful onside kick.
Which is still crazy.
I did like how the broadcast team on the TV side, you guys probably didn't hear this, obviously, but the TV side, was it, who was it again? Was it Daryl Johnston?
Yeah, and yeah.
They were talking about how one of them was saying something like, Man, I wish they didn't have to announce that there was onside kicks anymore. The surprise was part of the fun, and everybody on Twitter's like, "Dumbass, this is not a surprise." Like
Right.
we're clearly, No, maybe he meant earlier in the game. Once in a while, it's fun to try to catch somebody not paying attention with a
actual surprise onside.
Right, the fact, exactly. But now that you have to declare we're doing an onside kick, it was just a really weird time to make that complaint when there was no option and there's no surprise. You're clearly lining up for
game
an
situation.
Exactly.
Everybody knows that you're going to onside kick. I do.
Weird time to argue
I
it.
understand. Where they're coming from. Where if you're going to kick the ball off to start the second half and you want to do a surprise onside, you have to now declare that you're going to kick a
But don't you can't do it until the fourth quarter, and you have to be behind, right? Isn't that the rule?
Is that the rule?
I believe that.
If that's the case, that's another little bullet point in the this whole kickoff thing sucks.
Correct. Oh, it's the worst.
It's just got to end. It's not good. Nobody likes it.
I think it just needs to be tweaked. I don't mind the setup of it, but you have to make it more. You have to penalize the kicking team a little bit more, or the receiving team if the ball goes into the end zone. So because the touchback rule needs to be like adjusted to where it's not advantageous just to take the ball and kneel down, right?
Because you'll get it at the 30.
They should do it where you should incorporate more returns. Like you should incentivize more returns because as it is right now, there's not really an incentive,
almost none,
at all. Mm-hmm. Like I'll just kneel the ball down and just get the ball, at what 25.
No, you get it at 30.
At the 30.
Yeah, because it went from the 25 last year to the 30 this year. Yeah.
So yes, they should move it back.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, get to the 15.
Sure.
Put it on the 1.
Yeah, put it
Make
on
it
the
real
1.
interesting.
Right.
You'd get a lot more returns that way.
Yeah.
Ready, Paul?
Yeah. I've been ready, Daddy-O.
A lot of dead air. Interesting.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around Property Preservation.
Hey, Maxo.
Hey, what up, Saucy?
The Wolves lost 107-105 to Boston. They are 8-8. That is correct, Rosie. And had 28. They've lost 5 of 7. They battle the Rockets tomorrow at Target Center at 7 in one of those in-tournament games.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, you'd say, hey, Wolves fought hard against the reigning champs, best team in the NBA, arguably, and barely lost at the end. Came down to a final shot that Naz Reid missed. Naz Reid has been pretty brutal over these last couple of games, but they've already, this early in the season, they've lost that grace that you can give them because they've lost so many boneheaded games against really bad teams. So you can't give them that grace anymore. There is no moral victories at this point in the season. They got to figure it out. And they got to figure it out quick. Doesn't really help that Houston's been playing well this season, but man, the Timberwolves they are so inconsistent. I mean, at one point they were down by almost 20 in the game. They make a furious comeback at the end, and they just let Boston kind of just walk all over them. The defense is not really there. They have no defensive identity. I mean, how many threes did Boston hit? 21 threes. That's just ridiculous, and you're not going to win a whole lot of games giving that up. That's kind of Boston's calling card. But yeah, this Timberwolves team, they still have yet to find their identity, and they got to find it quick, man. They're a 500 team. It's just a really disappointing start to the season. And most seasons they start 500. You go, okay, all right, Timberwolves are hanging in there, but coming off of the Western Conference Finals run that they had, it's just a really disappointing season, and they got to find their identity pretty quickly here because it doesn't get easier for them. In the Western Conference, that's way more hellacious than we even thought.
Zacho, the 2 best teams in the NHL will go at it tonight at 7 o'clock, but the good news is we found out yesterday from Michael Russo that Kaprizov avoided major injury and is day-to-day.
Yeah, thank goodness. A lot of concern there. Of course, we have concern for Zuccarello still. Hopefully he will be back sooner than later, but tonight's going to be a big one. Hopefully they can keep up with all the injuries and everything, and we'll have a really good sold-out XL Center tonight, Wild and Jets.
Sweet. The Gophers lost 26-25 to Penn State on Saturday.
On the road.
No, you're at home. The Gophers are 6-5.
We're always on.
Oh, okay. Well, they will finish the regular season this Friday at 11.
Hey, what's up, Pete?
Against the Badgers.
It's way
Pregame
more
at 9.
real now.
The Gophers are currently 2-point underdogs
He's not perfect.
at the 5-6 Wisconsin Badgers.
He's the solution.
So this is at Wisconsin, you said?
Yeah, on
Okay.
Friday.
That's always in his eyes.
11 a.m. kick,
Tommy.
Black Friday at Wisconsin.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Pregame at 9. The pregame follows us live from the Mall of America, right?
Gophers
Carlos?
passed.
That is correct, Paul.
Week 12 of the NFL ends
No.
tonight with the Harbaugh Bowl with the Ravens at the Chargers. I thought about this morning, and I don't know why I think about stuff like this. Think of all the work the in-arena people had to do the second that game ended last night in L.A.
He's a football
Oh,
player.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
change the
tons.
logo and all that.
Yeah, stripping that field down and repainting, all that stuff. Yeah.
The Ravens are 2.5-point favorites. Game time is 7:15, and I think that will be on the plus, which is
107.9.
yes, correct. So yeah, and then the Vikings won 30-27. Thank you, Caleb, for the great game yesterday.
Yep. Vikings news is next with former Vikings linebacker Ben Lieber and Michael J. Mussman III. Jonathan Grenard joins us tomorrow around 8:40. We can ask him about his 9-2 squad. But Vikings news after this on The Fan.
100%.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's almost Christmas, you know? Thanksgiving's this week. Oh, and don't forget, by the way, if you've not been, or even if you have been, make sure you head on down to, I should say, on up to Duluth, to go to Bentleyville. Place is badass. If you need some Christmas in you, the entire harbor of Duluth is glowing. The annual tradition of Bentleyville kicked off for the 21st year. More than 6 million lights on display. The best part, it's free for the entire family. Here's Nathan Bentley, the executive director. So there's no place like Bentleyville for the holidays.
Everyone is treated the same. Everything is free here. Free coffee, cookies, hot chocolate, marshmallows. Every child that's 10 and under that visits Santa Claus receives a brand new winter hat and a bag of cookies. And there isn't events like that. So that's what makes Bentleyville one of the unique things in the state.
Yeah, 38 nights of Christmas. I'll
Just
be there.
Griswolding it up there,
It's
right?
the best, yeah. I'll
Yeah,
be there
it is
with,
sweet. It's
with
sweet, dude.
Bell Bank.
What time will that be?
I think in December, maybe the 8th or 7th or something like that. Let me see.
Maybe the 6th?
Maybe the 6th. That's
What
it.
tunes you
The
playing?
6th. Christmas tunes.
Where do they do it? Do
6th,
they
thank
do
you
it in
very
the
much.
park or canal or where?
Yeah, it's right there in, where they do the concerts right there.
Yeah, where,
yeah.
right by Pier B there.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right
So
by, yeah.
you can, if you haven't been, buddy.
I have not. No,
Oh
I
man,
would love
dude,
to go.
it's just freaking awesome. It's just, it's
sweet, dude.
It's the most Christmassy thing you could possibly do.
It'd be awesome. I'll wear my Minnesota Wild 00 Griswold on the back jersey and
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
go check it out. It's one of my favorite gifts I've ever been given.
Don't.
Yeah, my kids and my wife got me that years ago.
When did he play?
They get you that as a going away.
Griswold?
Yeah.
Yeah, 00 is for Blackhawks.
It's going away, kid.
Gotcha.
It's the going away again.
What they were hoping.
Please go away.
Brilliant, Hawk.
Take this and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, here's your hat. What's your hurry?
Wow.
Anyway, Bentleyville, go check it out. It's Christmassy, and everybody needs a little Christmas in here.
Yeah, Christmas Wales.
Thanks, man. Oh, you hated it earlier this morning.
No, I just said. No.
You hate Christmas?
No.
He said it earlier today. He's
You'd rather
trying
be
to
set on
impress-
fire.
He's trying to impress
see,
Cory.
they're taking it out of
Context?
context. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
No, you said it.
Meat sauce Mad Libs.
I said I don't like the CMA Christmas.
Why don't you like the CMA Christmas?
Because he said he didn't like to
I
see
said I'd
people
rather
sing
be
Christmas
set on
music.
fire than watch that.
Wow.
Again, why are those the
Good to
only
see, buddy.
two
They're
options?
singing Christmas songs.
That's right. I
My-
don't
the
understand.
What do
only
you got
kinda-
against Trisha Yearwood?
The only kind of Christmas music I like is Andy Williams, Nat King Cole,
Exact same songs.
and Barbra Streisand.
I can't wait for this breakdown when you're doing Christmas Cool 108.
I can't wait till you're doing Christmas with a little baby boy, and you gotta like it all.
No, but yeah, I like. I don't like that kind of Christmas music. I just like.
You don't like country music? That's what you're saying. Basically, they're the same damn songs, but you just
Same songs.
you hate country music.
I was just tired of seeing the commercial.
He was just trying to give Cory an E.
Erection.
Some ecstasy.
Yeah.
Cory, he gets an E from country music stars.
Honestly,
You gotta stop popping pills, Cory.
if he truly was doing it for me, he'd have 6 grammatical errors, and it would be screenshotted by about half the Twin Cities, and then either emailed to me or a direct message to me saying, "Sauce screwed up again. Here's another spell check." And I'd go, "Yes." I got one really good one in the hopper, but it just sometimes it takes a long
From
time.
yesterday?
No, from like a week ago. You had one of the
I
all-timers.
had an all-time one yesterday, but I deleted it real quickly.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Nobody sent me the screenshot. You must have found it
I
immediately.
blocked about 8 of them.
Dang it!
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Radco.
Benjamin, I have a question.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people, Chris, Paul Allen, there were a lot of people pregame predicting TJ Hawkinson was going to have a big game against the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
First half, that prediction looked like it was going to come up short. Second half and overtime, they couldn't stop him. So what was it about the Bears defense that looked like on paper TJ was going to have a big game? And then what did they do differently in the second half that made that happen? Because he was awesome from halftime basically on.
Obviously they saw something the way they're working their safeties, and the safeties, it seemed like they were just paying attention to the receivers. Like, all right, well, if you guys are going to pay special attention and put eyes on those guys, well, then we can find, even in a zone situation, we can find where Hawkinson can get to that soft spot of the defense. And, that one play that was towards the end of regulation, the fourth quarter on third down, where Sam, he gave him, it was almost like a little bit of like a double move, like a little bit of a, like, as the kids would say, a little hezzy, and he dropped it in for 35 yards. Like, that to me was, I think at the time, the play of the game, because we needed to go down and score and get up by 2 scores there. And on that third down, they dialed up exactly what they wanted to do, and they found the mismatch where he got past that linebacker, and then there was just nobody in that little void there. So clearly it was a great adjustment. And, whether it was intentional to sort of unleash Hawk later in the game, I don't know. But good by our staff at halftime to come out and say, all right, we're just going to make these little adjustments and find these little soft spots. And then when we had to make some plays late in the fourth quarter and overtime, he was the man.
Brian O'Neill said to you something that I caught in your interview when he was talking about Hawkinson, saying that, he's just coming back. He's still getting used to being in game shape. Is there anything to that when it comes to Hawkinson?
Maybe. I mean, there's always the conditioning part of it, and then there's always just the mental processing, the speed at which you have to play that you miss when you're injured for so long. So again, it's sort of like when Reisner was talking about last week. He's like, oh yeah, like my first 2 series were not that good. He's not getting a lot of practice time at full speed. You're not getting training camp. You don't get the preseason games. You're just going right out there, and it's full speed, and you've got to process, going 100 miles an hour. So I think, of course, it takes a little bit of time to get back into that game flow and that game conditioning.
Ben, with Hawk going off and Hawkinson, you're right. Yep, yeah, with 114 yards off of 7 receptions. You were really, really good, right up the seam. You're very good with your seam.
Thank you.
8 receptions for, of course, Addison, 162. What a great game. How many games do you think that Justin Jefferson is going to have to go through before teams just go, okay, we can't just get destroyed by everybody else? I mean, that 20-yard reception was huge for Justin Jefferson. But
that was huge.
Yeah, he had the 1 reception for 7 yards leading into that. Yeah,
correct. And the ball placement on that was perfect. On that 20-yard reception. So, I would say going into this next week, I think Arizona's going to have to get much more creative with when and where they pay attention to him, because really up to this point, if I'm trying to recall, and Muss, you're better at this than I am, Jacksonville, nobody really stepped up and had a huge game.
No.
Tennessee, nobody really stepped, like, not to the magnitude that Addison did yesterday.
Right.
So I think it'd be different if there was a string of 3 games. I mean, this is going all the way back to the Lions game, where I think they really took away Justin. If at any point in that time we made the adjustment and Addison stepped up and was like, okay, Addison's had 3 games of 100 yards receiving, then it would be like, okay, guys, like you got to start getting more creative with who you're going to double here. I think after this game, I think everybody's on alert now. Like with Hawkinson late in the game and now Addison, you can't just double team Justin all the time.
Well, and like you mentioned with Jacksonville and then Tennessee, I think it had a lot more to do with Sam Darnold was just still trying to throw the ball into spots that just like he's triple covered. Why are you throwing it to him?
Yeah, right.
Kind of thing. And then so finally, the message got to him from KOC was just like, listen, there's so many other people out here. We hit him when we can. Mm-hmm. And then you could even see in yesterday's game, as I was watching it on TV here in the studio, you could see at one point KOC went over to the bench. And I don't know what he actually said to Justin Jefferson, but you could just tell it was just kind of a, hey, man, just, you know what, just stick with it. Mm-hmm. We're going to need you at some point, but stick with it because everyone else is open.
Yeah,
because they're putting so much coverage on you, and eventually they're going to have to stop doing that.
Yeah, and I think this is probably the game where defenses start making that adjustment.
Yeah,
and we get back to much more production, many more targets, and like you said, not forced targets to Justin.
Yeah.
Why did the run game work so well yesterday? Again, you could argue for a lot of ways that might have been Aaron Jones' best game of the year, just simply on the ground. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was getting 5+.
Well, that was a little bit of a debate on how good their run defense was. I think a lot of people are trying to give them respect because the last week against Green Bay, they got gashed early in the game, but then kind of shored everything up. But if you go back to the previous game against the Patriots really gashed them as well. So there were opportunities in there, and they've shown vulnerabilities in the run game, specifically on the edge. Their edge guys are very good, but they're also very aggressive. They want to get upfield, and that's what New England did was they just sort of influenced those guys. They had these kind of sort of wham blocks, these wind back plays where, if you can picture a tight end or a fullback on one side of the formation and it goes all the way across the other and they kick out that end. Well, New England was doing that just time and time again. And because those guys were trying to get upfield so far, when they'd see the guy in front of them down block, they weren't collapsing down. They were going upfield. So I was hopeful that we could do a little bit of that, but they kind of they did stop a little bit of that against Green Bay. So there were opportunities there. I think they are a little schizophrenic on the run defense. And if you had the right scheme and you could tack them the right way, you could win on those edges. And that's kind of what we did early in the game.
Even Cam Akers looked dynamic when he was in there for 3 or 4 runs.
He runs so smooth.
I like it.
Yeah,
he's good, man.
Just butter, man.
It's snowing, guys.
Oh,
God, it is. Dang it.
Jeez, I wish there was some country music.
I know.
Christmas songs playing right now.
Sorry, Sauce. I know you hate Christmas, but
No,
look out
I
there.
don't.
It's so
I
beautiful.
just don't want to watch that garbage on TV.
Are your lips chapped? It looks like you have lipstick
Yeah,
on.
they are. They're very chapped
Yeah, what
because
the
I
hell
don't
are you
have
doing?
I don't have my mustache anymore to cover up my lips.
That's why your lips are chapped, because you don't have a mustache?
Yeah,
That
because
doesn't
they're
make
now.
sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
Why doesn't?
It's like a little greenhouse. It just keeps them nice
Yeah,
and
because it covers them up.
And you're
That's
not licking as
true.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you've been doing
It
some with
does
those
look
lips of yours.
It does look like I have lipstick.
It does look like you
And
have just.
What if I
really-
did?
yeah. What
What if I did?
Glam it up. Why not? It's a Monday
roll out
morning.
that freak flag. It's fine.
I don't know, just in the last week, you've shaved your beard and added lipstick. I just think you're changing your look right before your son shows up. Bold choices.
Does it bother you, Hogs, that I may have lipstick on?
Well, I have a saying that I used to wear.
Don't say it. Don't say it. I know exactly what you're going to say. It'd be kind of mean.
Is this
Yeah.
about Damian Woody?
No, it's about my dipstick.
Again, was this about David Woody?
So, why would your mustache, though, protect your bottom lip from being chapped?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Protect your bottom.
Guys, now he's self-conscious. Now he's covering his mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to talk like this.
God,
You look like the female
Rosie.
gremlin from Gremlins 2
Oh.
when she puts lipstick on.
oh my God, he's right.
Paul, your hands up.
Oh, what a great song.
Woodhawk?
Would he bang the gremlin from Gremlins 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just terrible. You're right.
The worst.
Just the worst.
This
My
isn't
goodness.
bad. I just don't want to spend a second watching that on TV.
I'm so sorry that your television has one channel.
Did you watch any of it?
No, it's on this week. I'm not watching that trash.
Is it just because of the promos they were running?
It was constant. I don't care.
So you hate that, but you loved Wicked?
Wicked was great. He hated Wicked.
I didn't hate it. I really, really wish I would have watched it in theater instead of a movie theater.
What?
I'd rather have gone to see
He wants to see the Broadway
on Broadway.
play.
Yeah, I would
gotcha.
much rather have watched it in that kind of realm. I would probably enjoyed it.
The movie
more.
is incredible,
There's
except
parts
for
of
one
it-
line. One line is very bad.
There's about a half hour they just didn't need, and it was a long movie.
Thanks,
Quit
Siskel
looking at my
and Ebert.
lipstick.
I know I can't help it.
You've been eating pistachios?
No, it does look.
Why do you keep puckering though?
Yeah,
Because Hawk makes me.
I'll make you.
Okay.
8 o'clock hour next. Power Trip Morning Show on the Fan.
Rudolph the Red-Lipped Reindeer over there.